What's got you through this year? What or who has sustained you? What are the things you can look back on and celebrate? What's given you hope? Welcome back to the Creating Value in Schools podcast with me, Liz Worthen, where we talk about working more sustainably in schools. It's a question that's kept me curious throughout my career in education, particularly now when the pressures seem to be higher than ever. It's July, and by the time you're listening to this, term is likely to be finishing or to have already finished, or you might be a school business leader heading into term 7 with a whole heap of things on your to-do list. Whatever your situation, I think this is a good pause point, an opportunity for reflection, recognition, and celebration. It's so easy for us to dwell on the negative. It's how we're programmed to survive, that we overlook the good stuff. So I've got some questions to prompt your thinking and hope that as well as listening, you'll be reflecting on what's happened for you this year. Firstly, I'm wondering, what or who has sustained you this year? What's kept you going? And for some help with this, I'm turning to Emma Gray, one of our Unbound school business leaders, who back in December talked about what helped her stay resilient in the hurly-burly of school life. Over to Emma.
My answer to that is instantly go out into the school and just stand, even if you just stand in a corridor. Sometimes you just remember why you're doing it. I mean, I worked in 2 to 19, so I have stood surrounded by teenagers massively taller than me as they all came out of class, and at the same time being mown down by very small people. And it's that I think keeps everybody going, because it does sound a bit soft, but they are the energy behind us, I think. And what school business leaders fail to realise is the impact they are having on those young people, however old. They are impacting their lives for the better, and they are another adult in the life of these young people that really contribute to them and their growth and their development and their well-being and their education. So my answer to when you're feeling a little bit low is go and stand at the back of a classroom or in a corridor or just in the playground or in the middle of the field and just watch what they're doing. It is incredible. And I moved into consultancy over a year ago now, and that's one thing I really, really miss, is being part of that energy, that because you can often, I used to say, you cut the air with a knife in a maths corridor. The brain power was exuding into the classrooms and out into the corridor, and the enthusiasm for learning is an excitement of being with their friends. You know, I could talk about it for ages, but yeah, that's where you need to be if you're feeling like it's all getting on top of you.
We all need something or someone to sustain us through the year, because there undoubtedly will be tough times and challenges. One of my most memorable moments in the podcast this year was listening to leadership coach Viv Grant, who shared her experience of a very difficult time being diagnosed and treated for a serious form of cancer. What kept her going was painting, trees, getting more connected to nature. It's given her a new perspective on her work with head teachers and how we face the challenges that life and schools bring. Let's hear from Viv.
Because, you know, my background is in headship and the work that I do is with school leaders, it's very much for me, it's this thing, we ask for our leaders to be wise. We ask for them to have the capacity to make wise decisions. But the fiction that goes alongside that is that you get there by brushing things aside, by being strong and resilient and pretending everything is okay. But again, another thing that's happened, you know, through the cancer and coming out on the other side, I've really turned to nature and learning and just really leaning into what nature has to say to us. And I do feel that is, again, through the paintings, because it was just the trees. I mean, a lot of my paintings are rooted in nature and trees. And this sense that, you know, we look at oaks and we admire them, don't we? We admire these great, big, ancient oaks that stand in our parks, in our woodland. But again, those oaks, that strength, that majesty that we see doesn't happen overnight. They face storms, the same that we do, but their roots grow deeper and deeper with each storm. The bark, it gets stronger and stronger with each storm. We're not separate from nature. And if we can see ourselves in relation to what nature has to say to us about what it means to be alive, even, and that, that difficulties and challenges are a part of the experience of being alive, then perhaps we'll have a different way of engaging with life, with the challenges of leadership.
So I wonder, what storms have you survived this year? What difficulties have you experienced? Do you think you've grown stronger as a result? Or is there damage that's been done? Because we can't underestimate the impact that the crises and difficulties can have. Recovery takes time. That was a key theme of my conversation with K Ainsworth, school improvement leader and author of No Silver Bullets. Paul had recently read Lucy Easthope's book, Come What May, Life-Changing Lessons for Coping with Crisis, and it really got him thinking about the difficult situations he supported school leaders through and how it's not a simple moving on. There is a process, there are ups and downs, and there's a point at which you feel like you'll never get to the other side, but it will happen. Let's hear from Paul.
One of the things that I'm really aware of at the moment is so many school leaders are in this stage of it feels like it's one crisis after another, the perma-crisis. It just feels like one more domino, then another domino, then another domino, and another domino. And some school leaders have reached out to me and say, that is how I feel. And I'm very aware of that from the school leaders that I coach and work with at the moment. But I genuinely believe it will get better. And I think that anything that we can do that rebuilds our reservoirs of hope is so important. And that's what I want people to go away from this conversation with. You might be having a tough time. Other people have had a tough time. It will get better. Please talk to somebody and get support from someone.
Reaching out and asking for help is so vital. It's definitely one of the things that helps us to keep going. It came up in the conversation between head teacher Joe Smith and principal Carl Smith about the notion of staying power. Both Joe and Carl have been in their schools and leadership roles for a number of years, and Joe really wanted to explore what makes that possible. So let's hear Carl talking about the importance of having people to turn to for support, and a question to ponder. Who do you turn to when times are tough and you need someone to keep you going?
But on another level, when times are tough, I don't know about you, Joe, it depends on what it is. But you rely a lot on knowing that the people around you are genuinely with you. And if you feel like, and it's hard as a head teacher, that can be not easy because there are times when you are kind of on your own on things. But if you feel like the people that you've got, or enough people you've got around you, are genuinely wanting to support you and genuinely want the best, then that helps you get through almost everything. It's people and connections that keep us, get us through the worst times. I mean, you like me would have been very much in the thick of leading a school during the height of the pandemic. And not only the height of the pandemic, but in the immediate aftermath. And it was insane. And it was, in many ways, overwhelming for people. And yet, somehow, maybe because of the stage we were in our career, maybe because of other things, who knows, but somehow we both got through that period. And I think we are, you can see the legacy, but we are moving gradually away now. And I think during those very, very dark times, you hung on to, you hung on to your sense of integrity. If you felt you were doing your best, if you felt you were doing, you were true to your values and what you thought was right, then that, I think, certainly made me feel a little bit less overwhelmed, because I thought, well, what else can I do but this? What else can I do but my best in this situation? You have to be self-forgiving as well. You do have to be somebody that is prepared to say, hey, I can't get it right all the time. In fact, probably get it wrong a lot of the time, but I'm doing the best I can. You do have to have that sense in you, because if you're not, then it's going to be torturous at times.
I think it's very true that one of the traits that I've seen in people that have stuck around is a sense of hope and optimism and enjoyment and positivity. And I hope people listening to this podcast know how important it is, work that they're doing to generate those kind of feelings in the teams and the people they lead.
I think that reminder to give yourself grace is definitely something to take with you. And I also love hearing Jo speak about hope and optimism. Hope is a word that's come up a lot on the podcast. We just heard Paul talking about reservoirs of hope. And it's made me think about hope as a verb, an action, something that we have to practice consciously, especially as leaders, which is exactly what they do at Tees Valley Education. Sean Harris, their Director of Place, shared how CEO Katrina Morley has instigated a practice of counting the flowers, a termly session where trust leaders share the things that have gone well, the green shoots, the causes for celebration. In a trust that's committed to tackling poverty and inequality, there's a lot going on that's difficult, so they need to practice that sense of hope and optimism. So, what flowers can you count? What's gone well this year? It doesn't have to be something dramatic. It might be building a relationship with a challenging group, simply being there every day, or seeing something that you've instigated take root. What do you want to celebrate? I hope that whether you're in school over the next few weeks, on a sun lounger somewhere, or just taking some downtime, this is a period when you can rest and refresh. And if you're seeking some mental nourishment, remember we've got a host of reading recommendations from podcast guests in the Creating Value in Schools bookshop. There's a real mixture of things in there, including some fiction. So check out the link in the show notes or description. And thank you for all your listens and support over this year. Rest well. And for those embarking on Term 7, don't worry, we're still here. Be back in a fortnight.